Welcome back. This is episode 3 of Sports with Hunzi. I will try and make this one a quicker video, trying to be a little bit more concise in both my golf swing and my videos. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, repost on Instagram, repost on YouTube, do whatever you can. Make sure people know something about this podcast and that I would like to get paid for it one day. The show today is going to cover a couple different things. I'm going to give a couple picks when it comes to team or season-long win totals. I'm going to give one season-long player prop, and then pick 3 guys during buy or sell to talk a little bit about fantasy football, and that should wrap it up. First thing I want to get to is the season-long win totals. First team I want to talk about, and something that I'm going to be very adamant about, is the Raiders. I believe in Geno Smith, I believe in Ashton Jeanty, and I believe in Pete Carroll. They upgraded at the 2 most valuable positions in all of football this offseason, quarterback and head coach. With a run game and a slightly better offensive line than they had last year, Pete Carroll's organization and his leadership, I think, gives them the tools to win a lot of games this year. Their line is set at 6.5 and at minus 145. I'm taking the over for the Raiders. Second pick is the Bucs. Playing in the NFC South, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the Carolina Panthers. I don't have any confidence in New Orleans, and I still believe Atlanta is not going to be good as they think they are. The defense isn't where it needs to be able to compete, especially with the Bucs. 6 games inside the division. I think the Bucs potentially win all 6. I know they're playing a first-place schedule, but the offense should be healthy. The offense should be great. I know that they lost Liam Cohen, but I have a lot of faith in Baker and Mike Evans and Emeka Okubu. Sorry, I probably mispronounced that. Nonetheless, I have a lot of faith in the Bucs. My last pick for season-long win totals is the under with the Eagles. Line is set at 11.5, minus 130. I think the simple part about this is what they lost on the defensive side. Darius Slay, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat. Losing that much on defense and trying to win 12 games in a first-place schedule, especially in the NFC East, which I think is a little bit stronger than it was last year, it's going to be tough for them. That's why I think they go under. I don't think they win less than 10 games, but winning 12 based on their schedule, I think is going to be tough. My one season-long player prop is the over on Trevor Lawrence's 3,500.5 yards for the season. He cakewalked through 3,500 yards his first 3 seasons. He's got Liam Cohen there. What Liam did with Baker last year, I think, is going to be easier for Liam to help Trevor get back to that level. Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, De'Ami Brown, Parker Washington. I think there's a lot there when it comes to the receiving core, the best receiving core that Trevor's ever had by a long margin. And the run game is going to be much better, mainly because the offensive line is better, which leads me back to Trevor is going to have a better opportunity to have more time in the pocket, make more longer reads, and push the ball down the field a whole lot easier than he did last year. The last segment, buy or sell. First player is Chase Brown. I'm buying my stock in Chase Brown. Chase Brown, I think, will get a lot of goal line touches in Cincinnati with them running empty a lot for Joe Burrow. I think him coming out of the backfield and catching passes is going to be significant. He is athletic, he's durable, and they give it to him in the red zone, which I think will bode well for him the whole season. I don't see a clear number 2 in Cincinnati for running backs, and for that reason, I would be buying. Second person I'm buying stock in is Nico Collins. Stephon Diggs is no longer in Houston. I know that the offensive line is challenged, but with Tank Dell still hurt, I think Nico's going to get a lot of targets. Joe Mixon. Oof, brain fart. Joe Mixon's still in Houston. I know that he's not the young buck he used to be, but Nico's going to be the number 1 option. He's going to get a lot of targets. He's going to get a lot of red zone targets. He's going to be their only option. And if he stays healthy, I would think he's 1,500 yards this year. Third and last piece of this podcast and this segment. JSN and the Seahawks, I should say, I'm selling all my stock on JSN. Sam Darnold was good last year. I think a lot of that was Minnesota. I think a lot of that was KOC. I think a lot of that was the whole dynamic of being in Minnesota. The offensive line has not improved in Seattle. Geno navigated it pretty well last year, despite that offensive line being, I think, bottom 3 in the league in pass protection. With no run game and DK Metcalf being in Pittsburgh, I don't see JSN as a true wide receiver 1 who will be able to take the top off the defense and play the underneath routes. If they don't have a wide receiver addition later on in the year to push the top off the defense, I don't think JSN will have enough targets because the run game won't be good enough, and neither will the explosive plays. That is the end of this podcast. I kept it under 10 minutes, which was impressive to me, at least in my eyes. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave comments, repost on Instagram, repost on YouTube, do all that. Hopefully one day I can get paid for this. Thank you guys.